Button.
Hi, my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies, and I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, completely colorblind. So I knit and crochet by feel, and I happen to believe that knitting and crochet are for everybody. They can be done tactily. And so in this video, I'm going to teach you how to single crochet by feel. Now, if you have some sight or if you're listening to patterns on a screen reader, or enlarged, or however you get your patterns, single crochet is abbreviated in patterns as SC, usually. Um, and single crochet is done after you've started a project, right? If you have your chain, or you've made your magic loop, or your ring, or whatever. So I am right-handed, and I hold my crochet hook in my right hand, and then I tension my yarn in my left hand between my middle finger and my index finger. Now you hold your yarn however is comfortable for you. You tension it however you want. But if you are visually impaired and you are working by feel, in my opinion, it really is best to have some good tension on that yarn. It's much easier to locate it. When it's tensioned nice and tight. Now I am working with a number 10 millimeter hook. It's nice and big, and I think that's really going to help us out in terms of seeing. We're working with a super bulky yarn right now. This is the Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. Okay, so I'm right-handed, so if you're left-handed, you will probably need, I'm sure you're used to sort of looking at things on the internet, right, and needing to work them opposite. But I have one loop right now on my crochet hook. So for me, as somebody who works by feel, I take my thumb and my index finger of my left hand, and I pinch that loop on my hook with my thumb and my index finger. I then slide that thumb and index finger of my left hand down that stitch to the base of that stitch to where it connects into the loop or the stitch in the row below. And then I slide my thumb and index finger to the left, right? I can feel where it connects. I slide them to the left, and I can feel the very next unworked stitch just to the left. So I pinch that with my thumb and my index finger on my left hand, so that my thumb and index finger are sort of in that hole in the stitch where I want to go. Now we are single crocheting, so I take my hook and I touch it to my thumb and my index finger. So I make contact with it, and that's how I know where to put my hook, is by when I touch when my thumb and index finger of my left hand are in that stitch in the hole of the stitch that I want to work into. That's where I stick my hook. I stick my hook in there. And now because I have my yarn tension nice and tight, I can get my hook around that yarn. I can grab it, I pull it up, and through that stitch I twist my hook up. Now I have 2 loops on my crochet hook, and now because my yarn is tension tight, I can just yarn over, and now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to twist that hook, point it down, and pull it through both loops. I'm back to having 1 loop on my crochet hook. Let's do that again. 1 loop on the crochet hook. Thumb and index finger of left hand are on the base of that stitch, right at the bottom of the loop on the crochet hook. I slide them down to the base of that stitch to where it connects into the stitch on a loop on the row below. And then I slide my thumb and index finger to the left to the very next unworked stitch. I pinch that stitch with my thumb and my index finger, and with them in the hole of the stitch where I want to go. I touch the end of my crochet hook to my thumb and my index finger. They make contact. They're in that stitch. I stick my hook into that stitch underneath both loops. You're going to have 2 loops on the top of your stitches. You want to stick your hook under both loops. You want to turn your hook so that you grab that yarn that's tensioned nice and tight. That'll be easy to do. You pull that loop up, you draw up a loop. You now have 2 loops on your crochet hook. You yarn over, and now you have 3 loops on your crochet hook. You twist that crochet hook and you pull it through both loops. 1 loop left on your hook. Let's do it one more time. 1 loop on the crochet hook. Thumb and index finger. Grab the bottom of that loop, slide it down to the very base of your stitch where it connects to the loop and the stitch in the row below. Now you slide your thumb and index finger to the left, and you stick your thumb and index finger into that stitch where you want your hook to go. And now you take your hook and you touch it to your finger, to the tip of your thumb and your index finger where you want the hook to go. You stick your hook in there, you twist your hook, you grab that yarn, it should be nice and tight there, you draw up a loop, 2 loops on the crochet hook, and then you yarn over again, 3 loops on the crochet hook. You twist your hook, you turn it down, you pull it through. 1 loop on the crochet hook. This is how you single crochet by feel. I hope that this helps anybody who might be blind or visually impaired who's looking for a hobby, and also for people who I often hear this from people who've been knitting or crocheting for years, and then they'll say they're starting to have changes in their eyesight, right? They're losing their sight and they're afraid and they're sad because they're going to have to give up their hobby. Well, I am here to tell you that you don't have to give up your hobby. You can knit and crochet by feel, okay? And this is how you do it. One more time. 1 loop on the hook. Left hand thumb and index finger are at the base of that loop on the hook. Slide your thumb and index finger down to the base of that stitch where it connects to the stitch in the row below. Slide your thumb and index finger to the left and stick it into the hole of the stitch next door. Hook makes contact with the thumb and the index finger where they're in that hole, and that tells you right where you want to stick your hook. Stick your hook in there. You twist it, you grab that yarn, you pull it through the stitch, you draw up the loop. 2 loops on the crochet hook, and then you yarn over again, 3 loops on your crochet hook. Twist your hook and pull it through both loops. 1 loop on your crochet hook. That is how you single crochet by feel. And of course, if you want to learn how to half double crochet by feel or double crochet by feel, I also have videos of that on my channel. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, happy stitching.